How ways destroy your enemy without fighting. Destroying an enemy without resorting to direct combat involves a range of strategies that leverage psychological, economic, and social tactics. Here's a detailed exploration of how to achieve this goal. 1. Psychological warfare. Manipulation and deception. Use misinformation and strategic deception to create confusion and doubt within your enemy's ranks. This can involve spreading false rumors, creating misleading information, or manipulating perceptions to make your opponent doubt their own strategies and decisions. Undermining confidence. Launch campaigns designed to erode the confidence and morale of your enemy. This could involve exposing their weaknesses or failures in a way that demoralizes their supporters and makes it difficult for them to maintain their position or authority. Influence operations. Use propaganda and other forms of influence to alter the perceptions and opinions of the enemy's supporters. This can be done through media manipulation, social media campaigns, and other forms of communication to sway public opinion and diminish the enemy's support base. 2. Economic disruption. Economic sanctions. Implement economic sanctions or trade restrictions to cripple the enemy's economy. This can lead to shortages, increased prices, and economic instability that weakens their ability to sustain operations or maintain their position. Sabotage of resources. Disrupt or sabotage key supply lines, production facilities, or financial systems that the enemy relies on. This can cause significant operational challenges and economic strain, forcing the enemy to divert resources to address these issues. Market manipulation. Engage in activities that manipulate financial markets to your advantage and to your enemy's disadvantage. This can involve speculative attacks, investment shifts, or other financial maneuvers that destabilize their economic foundation. 3. Political and diplomatic tactics. Isolation. Work to diplomatically isolate your enemy from potential allies or neutral parties. This can be achieved through diplomatic pressure, forming alliances, and engaging in negotiations that marginalize the enemy and reduce their support network. Undermining legitimacy. Campaign to discredit the enemy's leadership or political legitimacy. This can involve exposing corruption, human rights abuses, or other damaging information that undermines their authority and weakens their position both domestically and internationally. Engagement in negotiations. Use negotiations and diplomatic engagement to create agreements or conditions that are unfavorable to the enemy. By negotiating terms that benefit your interests while disadvantaging your enemy, you can achieve your goals without direct conflict. 4. Social and cultural influence. Cultural manipulation. Leverage cultural influence to affect the enemy's social dynamics. This can involve promoting cultural values, social norms, or ideologies that undermine the enemy's cohesion or stability. Grassroots movements. Support or create grassroots movements within the enemy's domain that challenge their authority or destabilize their social fabric. These movements can be used to advocate for change, create unrest, or weaken the enemy's control over their own population. Information warfare. Use strategic communication to shape narratives and public opinion. By controlling the flow of information and framing issues in a way that discredits or delegitimizes the enemy, you can influence public perception and undermine their support. 5. Legal and regulatory tactics. Legal challenges. Use legal avenues to challenge or hinder the enemy's operations. This could involve filing lawsuits, challenging their actions in international forums, or using regulatory frameworks to impose restrictions and penalties. Regulatory pressure. Work through regulatory bodies to impose restrictions or regulations that adversely affect the enemy. This could involve pushing for sanctions, trade restrictions, or other regulatory measures that hinder their operations or business activities. Compliance and standards. Advocate for or enforce compliance with international standards and agreements that your enemy may be violating. By drawing attention to their non-compliance, you can increase pressure on them and potentially lead to sanctions or other consequences. Conclusion. Defeating an enemy without direct fighting requires a multifaceted approach that targets various aspects of their strength and stability. By combining psychological warfare, economic disruption, political tactics, social influence, and legal measures, you can effectively undermine and neutralize an adversary while avoiding the direct costs and consequences of armed conflict. Each strategy should be carefully considered and tailored to the specific context and characteristics of the enemy to achieve the desired